There is nothing in my life that has slowed me down more than not being able to say no. And that is no to people who want to take too much from me. That is no to good opportunities that aren't right. That is no to any number of things and people in my life. I really struggle to say no. So 2025 really seems to be the year where I'm having to learn to say no because I'm having so many opportunities that are not the right opportunity for me coming up. I am having people really pushing into my boundaries, and I've reached a point where I'm tired of that because that has happened in the past, but I just have reached a point where I refuse to tolerate it anymore. And so I am, rather it's the universe, giving me these opportunities, or it's just kind of the way life works, I suddenly am having a lot of opportunities where I have to say no. And that's been really fascinating. And sometimes it's gone very, very well. There was a business opportunity where some friends wanted to put together like a social media marketing company. And of course, like I was going to be the centerpiece of it, making all the content for that. And I want I don't want to shut down my whole business for that. Like I have a business that I'm growing, that I'm working on, and no, it's not growing the fastest ever, but it's my business. It gives me the freedom, like the time freedom to do YouTube or to make short films or really to balance out the way that I want to live my life. And I value that. Like I really, really value that. I think that that is that's one of my biggest values is time freedom, autonomy, and not being dictated by having a boss and things like that. So I said no to that opportunity. And everybody was really cool about that. And I really felt like it was definitely the right move still to say no, even though everybody was really cool with it. But it just kind of affirmed to me, like, yes, this was the right thing to do, because when I was thinking about doing it, I was stressed. It was just like, it was not wanting to do. My whole body was in resistance, kind of like, you have a cat that you're trying to get out of a cat carrier at the vet, and they're just like, you know, making themselves as big as possible, stretching into the crate and not letting you get them out. That's what my body felt like. And then as soon as I was like sent off the scary text that was like, hey, I don't think that this is the right opportunity for me, my body relaxed. Everybody was super cool. And we're still friends. Everything's great. Then I've had a couple of people where things did not end very, very well. I've have a friend that I have, and I've talked about them before on this channel in vague terms, but I tried to help them. Like, I tried to help them get into a better life situation. It ended up that they just took and took and took. They were always promising, hey, I'm going to pay you back. And unfortunately, being an honest person, I believed them for a long time. 2023 and 2024, things got quite nasty between us because I was just sick of it. They tried to come back and do the same thing in 2025 after we'd had a period of cooling off. And in not the best of terms, I told them, get out of my life. I don't want you in my life anymore. And we'll see if they completely stay out of my life, but I've basically removed any way that they can contact me. I've blocked them on all social media, blocked my phone. They don't know where I live, so hopefully they are out of my life. And had another person who, was making a short film, and short films are supposed to be fun, right? Like, it's usually friends getting together, actors, everybody coming together, making something cool. And, I sent the script to one person. They weren't honestly like my friend. I'd interacted with them once, but they'd expressed interest in the film. I sent them a part that I thought would work for them. They completely lost their shit on me. They called me all sorts of horrible names. They really didn't like the part. Would have been perfectly sufficient to say, hey, this part isn't for me. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much. That would have been the way to go about it, but they just decided to be nasty verbal on me. I decided I'm not going to take this. Blocked them and told the other people in the film, who were working on the film, I'm like, hey, like, I'm sorry. I know some of you are friends with this person, but if you want them to be involved in the film, I will happily step away. I will not work with them after they were this way towards me. And everybody respected that. That person is not involved in the film. Saying no to people treating you like shit, saying no to even good opportunities that don't align with where you want to go, that's powerful. And that feels really, really good. And so I feel like that's one thing that I want to continue practicing in 2025. I even have had another situation on another short film where somebody was asking me like, hey, let's include this scene and do this and that. And this particular film has a hard deadline. It has a day that it is going to play as part of a bigger program at a movie theater. It's going to be one of many different short films and part of a fashion show. All this kind of stuff is going on. So it has a hard deadline in, from recording this video, less than 2 weeks. And this person asked, hey, can we like add this scene and that scene and do this and that? And I had to say like, no, like we have a script. We've been working on this thing. We have one more scene to shoot. It's going to be a real tight deadline as it is. I'm so sorry. I can't do it on this short film. We can absolutely save the idea and do it later, but we just can't because I am the one editing this thing. I am the one that like all the responsibility falls on my shoulders. And I'm exhausted and can't. And again, they respected it. There was a little bit of pushback and they were, disappointed, but they ultimately respected that. And it's a really, really empowering thing to not be a doormat because I was raised as a doormat and it's a mix of a lot of things. I'm not going to blame it all on religion, but that certainly was a factor, turn the other cheek. If, somebody takes your coat, give them your shirt as well. All of these different, parables by Jesus, all of these ideas of, if somebody wrongs you, you continue to do good to them. If somebody takes from you, you continue to give to them even more. Things that really kind of screwed up my life. And, that was just reinforced by my home life, by my parents, all of that. They were very much into that as well. They had been, particularly my mother had been indoctrinated in a very, very conservative cult, kind of within Christianity. If people are familiar with Bill Gothard, I forget what his organization is, but Bill Gothard, she went to a lot of his seminars growing up, very, very indoctrinated by that. Thankfully, she's come out of that. But growing up, she was very much into that and very much past that kind of way of being on. If ever there was an argument between her and my dad, she would just take it. I'm very much like my mom. I kind of, if you were looking at personalities, my sister was more like my dad. I was more like my mom, as often happens in family dynamics. And so I kind of embodied that too. I learned that way of being by osmosis. And then, of course, it was reinforced by the church and different things like that, being the meek and mild person. And I'm tired. I am fucking tired of being the meek and mild person. Like, I'm really, really sick of just sucking up all the shit and just taking it when people want me to do something that I don't want to do. People push me in a direction I don't want to go. People try and make me do something. Now, I'm not perfect at this. Sometimes I'm still saying yes or trying to, overly politely weasel out of it. And, when I should just say, no thanks. no thanks. I'm not going to be doing that. That's not the right opportunity for me. And the times that I have basically just said no thanks, it's gone well. And obviously some of them have been a little bit rougher, telling people that, they have to get out of my life, or no, I'm not going to associate with this person because of how they treat me. That's not a super fun thing. But times when I just say, hey, no, this is not, this isn't going to work for this film, or this is not the right business opportunity, or I can't hang out right now because I've got other stuff going on in my life. That all works very well. And that has felt good. And I think as I start doing more of that, as I start making that my life practice, I'm going to feel a lot less tired. I'm going to feel a lot less stressed. I'm going to feel more like myself. And that's just going to be absolutely fantastic to find that, in some ways to get back to that, but honestly, in some ways to find that for the first time. And so if you're somebody like me, I just want to encourage you. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, hey, like, it's not okay for you to treat me like this, or hey, this is not a good opportunity for me, or hey, I cannot hang out, or this is not the creative direction that I think that this project should go. Whatever your no is, it's okay to have that boundary. It's okay to live your life in such a way that you are your own person. You don't have to bow to other people's wishes and whims. I'm going to end this video because my voice is starting to go. My throat's pretty scratchy. But thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and I will catch you in the next one.